The jungle doesn't whisper, it breathes. At night, when the sky is a vault of blackness and the stars are swallowed by the canopy, the Amazon hums with life. Insects clicking in strange rhythmic patterns, frogs croaking like ancient drums, and something else, something you can't name. The air is so thick you can taste the green, heavy with the scent of damp earth and rotting leaves. And in that endless labyrinth of trees and rivers, a man once walked with a purpose that burned like a torch in the dark. His name was Colonel Percy Fawcett. He walked into the heart of the Amazon in 1925 in search of a lost city, and was never seen again. Fawcett wasn't a reckless drifter or a naive adventurer. Born in 1867, he was a soldier, a surveyor, and one of Britain's most respected explorers. Tall, with a neatly trimmed mustache and the kind of piercing gaze that seemed to size up both man and terrain, he had a knack for surviving in places that would have swallowed others whole. By the early 20th century, the Amazon was one of the last true blank spaces on the map, and Percy Fawcett wanted to fill it. He had already charted vast stretches of jungle, braved venomous snakes, hostile encounters, and tropical diseases. Yet what drove him was more than geography. Deep in the archives of the National Library of Rio de Janeiro, he stumbled upon a document, an old Portuguese manuscript from the 1700s. It told of a ruined city hidden in the Amazon, filled with stone arches, great roads, and inscriptions unlike anything known in the Americas. The locals called it simply Z. Fawcett became obsessed. He imagined Z as a place that could rewrite history, proof that advanced civilizations had existed deep in the rainforest long before European contact. He believed it was no mere myth, but a real city waiting to be found. And unlike so many explorers who plundered and destroyed, Fawcett insisted he would respect the culture and history of whoever had built it. In 1925, he prepared for what would be his final and most daring expedition. Accompanied by his 21-year-old son Jack and Jack's close friend Raleigh Rymel, Fawcett set out from the Brazilian city of Cuiabá. They carried minimal equipment. Fawcett believed that traveling light would earn them the trust of local tribes. They had rifles, provisions, and the iron will to walk into the green abyss. Their letters home brimmed with excitement. Fawcett wrote to his wife Nina about the beauty of the rivers, the dense, almost impenetrable vegetation, and the sense that they were on the cusp of discovery. But after May 29, 1925, the letters stopped. No telegrams, no word. The jungle had swallowed them. Months passed, then years. Rescue expeditions were launched, some by fellow explorers, others by journalists eager for a headline. The search for Percy Fawcett became a story in itself, drawing adventurers from around the world. But each rescue party seemed to meet trouble, fever, floods, attacks by hostile tribes, or simply nothing. The Amazon yielded no answers. Theories began to sprout like vines. Some said the trio had been killed by the Kalapalo people after violating tribal customs. Others insisted they had been taken captive, living out their days in some hidden village, unwilling or unable to return. There were whispers of execution, of sacrifice, of disappearance into a community that guarded its secrets. One version, passed down in tribal stories, claimed that Fawcett and his companions had reached a village where they were fed and treated kindly, but tensions grew. Perhaps Fawcett crossed an invisible line of respect, or perhaps the young men under his watch said or did something forbidden. The legend says they were struck down and buried in the forest, yet no definitive graves have ever been found. And then there are the stranger theories. Some believe Fawcett never intended to return. His letters hinted at disillusionment with the modern world, and there's a romantic image of him stepping into Z, deciding that civilization had nothing left to offer him. Others have woven his fate into more fantastical tales, that he discovered not a city, but an entrance to a hidden world, one from which no outsider emerges. Over the decades, people claim to have seen him, a tall white man in the company of tribes deep in the jungle, years after his official disappearance. Most of these sightings faded into rumor, but they kept the hope alive. The truth is, the Amazon of the 1920s was a place where a man could disappear utterly. The rivers ran like twisting veins through a body of green, each bend leading to another world. In the wet season, rains turned the ground into a sucking swamp. In the dry, the sun beat down so hard it seemed to bleach the bones of the earth. Even the very idea of Z has its own mystery. Modern archaeology has uncovered evidence that advanced, large-scale settlements once existed in parts of the Amazon, with complex road systems and fertile earthworks. Could Fawcett have been right all along? Could he have found something and simply never lived to tell the tale? And then there's Nina Fawcett, his wife. She never gave up hope, even decades after his disappearance. She clung to the belief that Percy had survived and would one day return. Her devotion kept his story alive long after the newspapers had moved on. Standing today on the banks of the Xingu River, you can feel it, that mixture of beauty and menace. The air is heavy, the water dark, and the trees crowd so close they seem to listen. It's not hard to imagine the three figures stepping silently into their canoes, unaware that history would never record their return. What happened to Percy Fawcett may never be known. The jungle does not yield its secrets easily. Maybe that's why his story continues to draw us in, because it's not just about one man's disappearance. It's about the lure of the unknown, about stepping beyond the edges of the map into a place where myth and reality blur. So here we are, nearly a century later, still wondering, did he find Z? Was he killed before he could tell anyone? Or did he simply choose to stay? Thank you for walking this path with me. Now, I'd like to know, if you had the chance to chase a mystery like Fawcett's, knowing you might never return, would you take it? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, please like, comment, and share. It truly helps keep these stories alive.